Welcome back to the news at 10. The flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party in the Osun State governorship election of September the 22nd, Senator Ademola Adeleke, has challenged the declaration of a governor-elect Gboyega Oyetola as the winner of the polls. Senator Adeleke and the PDP have filed a petition at the Election Petitions Tribunal sitting in Osogbo, asking the body headed by Justice Teresa Igoche to declare him the winner of the poll. The PDP legal team, represented by Senator Adeleke's running mate, Albert Adeogun, and the chairman of the PDP in the state, led the council who filed a 593-page petition at the tribunal registry. The Independent National Electoral Commission had, after the rerun, declared the candidate of the APC, Gboyega Oyetola, as the winner of the polls, beating Adeleke, who scored 255,021 votes. Let's cross over to Abuja now, and here's Terry Ikumi. Hey, Terry.
Hi, Ijoba. Welcome to Abuja. Now, Dr. Fayeme's predecessor and immediate past governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, has fulfilled his promise of reporting to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission after leaving office. He's been grilled by the commission over alleged fraud and abuse of office. Mr. Fayose, who is still in the custody of the Anti-Graft agency, was accompanied by Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State and the former Minister of Aviation, Mr. Femi Fani-Kayode. Our correspondent Amaka Okafo has a report.
The immediate past Ekiti State Governor, Mr. Ayodele Fayose, lived up to his promise of turning himself in for questioning by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission as soon as he leaves office. But his appearance before the commission is not without his usual drama. The former governor appears ready to spend some time at the office of the Anti-Graft agency as he carried 2 bags which is believed to contain personal effects. He arrived at the commission accompanied by his supporters, friends and a team of lawyers.
It was for me to serve on the 16th of October. Till then I hate you. And I believe that PFCC should know as well. I fear when the intelligence report to have that he may be harmed. But then Nigerians know that he came by himself to EFCC without anybody harassing him. So that's why I brought him here today.
He is expected to answer allegations of financial fraud and abuse of office.
I am here to, in line with my promise, that I will be here on the 16th of October. And like I said to EFCC, they should wait. I wait my arrival. This morning they've been to my house, they've condoned up my street, which I feel personally is unnecessary, is unwarranted. When the man says he's coming, Nigerians should be given the benefit of the doubt. I have led Ekiti, and the best I could give, I've given. Therefore, every question, whatever they need to ask today, I would be able to respond appropriately.
In the coming days, the drama between the former Ekiti State Governor and the Anti-Graft agency is expected to enter another phase. The outcome of the questioning by the agency will determine when and if the legal process will start. Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.
Now back to the National Assembly, where the lawmakers have approved the 28 environment of 242 billion naira funding for the 2019 general elections. This shows a reduction of over 200 million naira in the amount requested by President Muhammadu Buhari. For the 28 environment, INEC will now get 189 billion, while the security agencies will get 53.2 billion in the 28 environment, in addition to their various appropriations in the 2018 budget. And in Anambra State, the popular DMG's roundabout in Onitsha has been redesigned not only to have a transformed outlook, but also to add value and beauty to the ancient city of Onitsha. While commissioning the remodeled area, Governor Willie Obiano said Onitsha deserves monuments that will showcase its rich cultural and historical heritage. He explained that the idea behind the project is to celebrate the legend of the great Zik of Africa, whose statue adorns the roundabout, as well as the unity of the Igbo nation.
News of the presence of Governor Willie Obiano at these roundabouts in the metropolis has brought eager to catch a glimpse and witness the commissioning of the project.
Without lights, they cannot capture anything.
After pleasantries, Governor Obiano, in the company of his wife, proceeds to the main event of the day and cuts the ribbon. The veil is removed and a remodeled statue of the first president of Nigeria, Nnamdi Azikiwe, is revealed. Governor Obiano explains the process of the project.
What we did was to clean it well, then they uplifted this place to be able to be befitting for a place for our first president.
Before departing, the governor leaves the people with some stately advice.
Keep your environment clean, very important. Do not throw it on the road. Are you hearing me?
According to the state government, one major objective of the Willie Obiano administration is to transform the outlook of Onitsha. This latest achievement attests to that.
Well, that's it from Abuja. It's back to you, Ijoma.
Thanks a lot, Terry. The National Assembly has expressed its resolve to maintain the momentum on pension reforms while ensuring that the interests of Nigerians participating in the scheme is protected. According to the lawmakers, the National Assembly will also go the extra mile to release the benefits accruing to retirees who bowed out of service before the introduction of the 2004 Pension Reform Act. The federal legislators spoke at a retreat organized by operators of the Nigeria for Stakeholders.
The Nigerian pension system no doubt has some drawbacks. At this maiden retreat organized by operators of Nigeria for stakeholders within the pension subsector of the economy, some of these issues are brought to the fore.
They provide regular information to every retirement savings account holder.
The National Assembly's Committee for Establishment and Public Service is hoping that at the end of the retreat, there will be a frequent interface between the legislative arm and the Pensions Commission.
This retreat have actually exposed us to some of the difficulties they are having, which if we have sat down in the chambers, we couldn't have had the privilege of knowing.
As a regulator of the pension scheme, I'll be worried if anybody is not covered. Particularly, you have had the challenges with the states, which we have published the compliance level state by state. So we hope the states that have not keyed into the contributory pension scheme will also key in.
For the organizers of the retreat, efficient pension system helps to support and accelerate growth and development, an area in which the country has been found wanting for years.
Unfortunately, pensions is one of those things that people think it's somebody else's problem until they begin to mature. Like you said, it's when people begin to reach 40, 50 that they begin to worry about it. So it's not of a lack of effort from the PFAs.
Unlike what you had before, defined benefit, when you retire, you begin to wait for government to pay you. Now it's what you have contributed. So after your doctor, the next aspect you take serious is your PFA. You should ensure that you visit them. You should ensure that your remittance are being remitted promptly by your employer. Because if your remittance is delayed, the return on your investment, you are losing the return on your investment.
There are lingering challenges retired employees face both in the public and private sector in accessing their benefits after years of service. Despite the contributory pension scheme establishment, the problems of unpaid benefits still stare many pensioners straight in the face.
The Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas, NLNG, has restated its commitment to expand the company's production capacity from 22 million metric tons of gas per annum to 30 million. Now, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of NLNG, Mr. Tony Atta, says the project will create numerous job opportunities which will have a ripple effect on the economy. He was speaking in Abuja at a public workshop on Nigerian content of the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Train 7.
It is a gathering of oil and gas experts, as the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited organized a public workshop on Nigerian content of the LNG Train 7 project. The managing director of the LNG Limited highlights the benefit of the Train 7 project.
Coal will take a back seat. Oil will remain, but not as relevant, especially if you talk transport and if you talk power generation. But the world needs more energy. We're 7 million people today. By 2040, which is just about 20 years' time, 2 billion people will be added. Think about that.
The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Development Monitoring Board declares the position of the board on the Nigerian content of the LNG Train 7 project.
Nigerian content is not about Nigerianization, because a lot of people have that misconception that when they write letters or petitions to me to say, there is a company working in our area, they have experts working for them. And I say, so bloody what? It is not about Nigerianization. It is about the domiciliation and domestication of services in the country.
The Train 7 Coordination Expansion Manager gives an overview of the project.
What is the Nigeria LNG Train 7 project? It is a project that tries to build on what NLNG has already done on Benin Island, where we already have 6 existing trains producing about 22 million tons per annum. And currently, we are able to deliver over 300 million tons. So 300 cargoes of LNG to the market.
Coming about 11 years after it built its 6th LNG train on its Bonny Island operational hub, the introduction of the Train 7 project is no doubt a bold step into the future as the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited takes its position as a global player in the gas sector.
Let's take a look at some business news now. Here's Anne Wilder.
You First. First Bank.
Thank you, Ijoma. We begin business news tonight with the federal government's promise to leverage on the benefits of public-private partnership in addressing its infrastructural challenges. At a meeting in Abuja, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission is overseeing the completion of 55 projects across the country. Let's talk about Nigeria's headline inflation. It has risen for the second time in a row, but by a slim margin of 0.05% to 11.28% for the month of September. And that's where you compare it to 11.23%, which was recorded in August. This latest data released by the National Bureau of Statistics shows that the Composite Food Index rose to 13.31% year-on-year in September, driven by high prices of poultry products, vegetables, and other important food items. The country's urban inflation rate increased to 11.70% year-on-year, while the rural inflation rate increased to 10.9% last month. On a month-on-month basis, the headline index dropped by 0.21% to 0.84% in September. The food sub-index fell by 0.42% to 1%, while the index for rural and index fell by 1% and 0.82% each. The bulls have made a strong comeback at the close of trade today as renewed interest in Dangote stocks drove the market main index by highest margin so far this month. Let's hear more from Tosin Additional.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Investor sentiment at the domestic stock market turned positive at the close of Tuesday's trading session as the NSE All-Share Index went up by nearly 1%. The market's performance was largely boosted by strong bargain hunting in some of the key components of the consumer, industrial goods and the banking sector, which lifted the equities capitalization by 103 billion naira. A cross deal in the shares of Sunu Assurance contributed about 92% of the total volume of shares traded for the day, which stands at 662.021 million units in 3,025 transactions. Top 3 on a list of 16 gainers are the share price of AXA Mansard, NASCON and Nigeria Police Microfinance Bank. And that's against 23 losers, led for a second day by the share price of Fitson Healthcare. That's the stock market report. I am Tosin Additional.
Thank you, Tosin. Also, stocks in Wall Street rose sharply today as the release of strong quarterly results from some of the largest U.S. companies helped the market recover from last week's sell-off. It's a similar picture for European markets, but it's mixed for Asian and African markets. With those numbers, we end business news for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. It's back to you, Jama.
You First. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Anne. Still ahead on the news at 10, Odion scores twice as the Super Eagles of Nigeria edge past host Libya to go top of Group E in the 2019 AFCON qualifying series. That's all sports. Good stay with us.